Hello and welcome back to Kale's Travails. You may recognize my surroundings. Thought we wouldn't be here again, but you never know what life's gonna deal you, so let's take it through today. This morning I got up, a reasonable amount of time, pulled myself together, got out the door. I had 3 liters of water because it was gonna be a tough day. There was an uphill, I was ready to roll. Got out, it was raining. I decided this time to put on the poncho instead of the raincoat because I always get sweaty inside the raincoat because it's not cold, it's just wet. And I was like, oh, the poncho is going to give me so much more breathing space. Well, I do not recommend the poncho. I was soaked, head to toe soaked when I was done with everything. That poncho didn't do crap. I don't know why. Is it even possible to use a poncho wrong? I don't know, but it was not cute. Anyway. So it's raining, I'm out there, it's, still that sort of early dawn haziness. And I follow this road that kind of skirts around town and around the river, and then it finally heads off towards the mountains. Now when I see the first mountain, and I'm looking at the map, and I'm looking at the mountain, I'm like, map says straight. Straight is mountain. This is gonna be tricky. I did not know the half of it. It was wild. So I start climbing. I'm like, this is hard. This is steep. This is hard. But I see the top right there. I get to what I thought was the top. No, it's just a bend and it's still going up. Oh, but there's the tree line. Oh, once I get to the tree line, it'll level off. Nope, just another bend. Still going up. And it was steep. It was steep. So for the first while of this, I'm trucking along and I'm moving and it's going okay. And then it just keeps coming. The steep hills just keep coming, and now I'm slowing down and I'm out of breath and I'm riding that struggle bus. And I got to the point where I was counting steps and I'm like, you cannot take a break until you've done 50 more steps. 50 steps, breathe. 50 steps, breathe. I drank so much water because every time I stopped I was like, need air and water, need air and water. I got passed on the hill and my first thought was, oh, people are passing me. But then I remembered this turnabout that I had, and I'm like, no, look at you, you badass, climbing this crazy ass hill. Could you have done this a year ago? No chance in hell. Are you stopping? I mean, intermittently, yes, but in general, no. You go, you. And I was really proud of myself for this turn of thinking. So I wore the ankle brace today, and my ankle didn't give out, so I guess it did its job, but as I'm climbing, it's kind of uncomfortable. Actually, since I put it on, it was kind of uncomfortable, but as a woman who's worn many braces over the years from my many orthopedic injuries, braces are always a little uncomfortable at the beginning. So it's uncomfortable. I get to the top of this mountain finally. Now, this mountain was so challenging for me that when I finally leveled off and had a bit of a downhill, I was wobbly, like my legs were wobbly. And I was like, Jesus, it feels like I'm on a boat without sea legs. So finally, getting a level off to a downhill, and I'm like, oh damn, that brace actually is really hurting my foot. It's getting kind of challenging to walk. And I slog on, and then it was getting acutely painful. And finally I said to myself, you know what? The worst of the hill is done. The rest of my walk is all along, relatively well-maintained roads. I'm not worried about like falling off a cliff if my ankle gives out. We're gonna take the brace off. So I pull over, I sit on a rock. The rock's sopping wet, I'm sopping wet. Now I'm just adding liquid to new places. I take the brace off and I'm like, oh, that hurts like oh my God, I can't believe that much that hurts. Put my shoe back on, tried to walk. It's actually worse without the brace than it was with the brace. I am in agony. So now I'm like, shuffling down the road. I probably made it no more than another quarter mile, maybe. I don't know. I'm not good at these things. Half a mile tops. And I am in so much pain that I'm near tears. And I was like, I have to pull over. I had not seen a lot of benches, even though I was through like tiny towns. It wasn't as friendly as some of the tiny towns of earlier mountain towns. So I finally saw like one of those bus stop small pavilion things, just a bench with a roof. And it was busted up. It was old, it was broken. The roof was, cracked, and it's raining right in there. And I was like, I don't even care if the bench is soaked. I just need somewhere to sit down. So I went and I sat. And oh my God, was I in pain. So now I'm trying to figure out, how can I bend this better, right? What if I make my shoe tighter? What if I make it looser? What if I use an ace bandage to cushion? Nothing worked. So now I'm just sitting there an hour and a half. I don't even know. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, it'll get better. I'm just gonna wait until it gets better. It didn't get better. It did not get better. I could not bear weight on my right foot. Like, so here you're on your 2 feet. I can stand on my left foot, no problem. Stand on my right foot. I was like, death. And it was brutal. So finally I called a cab. Cab came and picked me up and asked me where I want to go. I want to go to Ourense. He said, okay. And he said, what's going on? I could see, you're not doing so good. So I told him, and I said, do you think I should go to a pharmacy or a health center? I was going to go to a pharmacy, and he's like, health center for sure. And he bangs a Yui right in the middle of like this tiny mountain road. And he's like, I'm taking you to a health center. And he just started driving. And he's like, don't worry about it. After your visit, I'll take you to Ourense or Sea or wherever you want to go. But I'm taking you to this health center. I'm like, okay, dude. So he does. He takes me to this health center. And he's like, I'll bring you in and I'll tell them what's going on. So he goes in. It's clear that he knows the woman behind the desk. He's telling them the deal, whatever. And then he's like, okay, you sit and I'll come back for you. I was like, oh, I need my stuff. He's like, no, you can leave your stuff in the car. Nothing's going to happen to it. I'm going to come back for you. I'm like, okay. Now, at this point, it's clear that not only does he know the woman behind the desk, he knows the doctor, he knows the PA or whatever they might be called in Spain. I'm like, okay, he knows people. I'm not super concerned. He's just going to disappear with all my stuff. So I left my stuff in the car. I sit, I wait, and I'm seen. Now, when I see the doctor, I explain. He asks me to take off my shoe and sock, and I do, and I sit down, and he looks at my feet, and he goes, you're doing the Camino with these feet? Your feet are flat. You have flat feet. You're doing the Camino? And I was like, yes, I'm aware, and yes, I am. And he's like, okay. I was like, I have things in my shoes. And then he said whatever the word was in Spanish. And I was like, yeah, those. And he's like, Talk about some instant spectacular judgment. So he starts, flexing my foot. Does this hurt? Does this hurt? No, everything's fine. And he's like, okay, show me where it hurts. So I point, and he starts poking. I'm like, ah. And he's like, okay, we might need to get x-rays. And I'm like, so he starts poking at the bones independently of the pain spot. The bones were all fine. He's like, oh, never mind. No need for an x-ray. Your bones are fine. It's whatever. And in the end, he said, it's just inflamed. It's, I don't know. Something went wrong. And so he gave me a prescription anti-inflammatory, and I went to a pharmacy and filled it. And I told him, like, oh, should I not wear the brace anymore? He's like, well, it is good for your ankle, so see if you can find a way to rig it up so it's just on your ankle. I haven't done that yet. Today's been phenomenally weird. But, maybe we'll try that either later. It's almost 10, or maybe tomorrow morning. So after I see him, I hobble to the pharmacy. I get my script filled. And then I call the cab driver, and sure enough, he comes back and gets me and takes me back to Ourense, and he says, what's your plan next? I said, I'm going to take a car back out to where I left off. And he's like, oh, call me. Don't use Ourense cabs. They are real pricey. And I was like, okay, dude. So I'll call him tomorrow if I walk tomorrow. Got here, showered, put all of my clothes in the washing machine. Now, when I say all, I mean the only thing I had left was like socks and a pair of shorts that I had from when I wore under the dress, which I shipped back, but now I keep them in case I want to sleep in shorts. They're not really shorts that I would wear out in the world, but I washed all my bras, all my shirts, one of my pairs of hiking pants, some socks. I went for it because there's a washer and dryer. There's a dryer. I was so excited. So I put all this in, and now I'm hanging out in my shorts and just a towel. Just me, my shorts, and a towel. And the washer, dryer, and I have an epic battle that I am losing. Turns out, first of all, I don't know how to work the damn thing, period. I'm sure that at least half of my troubles was me. The other half, though, is that thing doesn't dry for shit. Doesn't dry. In the end, I probably started my laundry around, let's say, 3. I did not actually get anything out until 9. That's right, 6 hours of laundry for one load of like 8 things. And at the end of all that, they weren't even dry. These leggings I'm wearing, I put them on a little bit damp because I just needed pants so I could get some food because I was flipping starving. So during this whole time, I'm like, taking it in stride, I'm taking it in stride, I'm taking it in stride. It's not a big deal that I'm injured and I can't get clean clothes and the dryer hates me. It's fine. And then I decided I'm gonna try to order some food. I'm gonna get delivery. So I look online, there's a delivery app in Spain. I download the app. I put in, you know, my email and where is it being delivered to and what kind of food do I want. And I get this all done. Finally get to the checkout stage. Phone number. I put in my phone number. Oh, we don't support phone numbers with a US country code. And there's no way to move forward. The phone number is required. Can't be a US phone. So that didn't work. Next up, I went directly to somebody's website. Same problem. You get through this whole process. You get to the end. They ask for a phone number. Only accept a Spanish phone number. And I was like, I'm starving. I'm starving. I'm in a towel, so it's not like I can go out and get food. Absolute catastrophe. So, like I said, trying to take this in stride. But it was tough. It was tough. I spoke to Fierce. I spoke to my mother. I spoke to my brother. Thank you all for your support during my just trying to keep it all level. In the end, my clothes are hanging all around me because they didn't fully dry, but they're out. I did end up getting food delivered because Uber Eats exists here. And since I already have an account, I don't need to re-enter my phone number. So I finally got some food delivered. It showed up at like 9:20 and I was like a heathen. I was so hungry. I don't even know if I breathed. So happy to have eaten. And then what other tales to tell? My cab driver was incredible. He's also a little scary. He takes those mountain roads like nothing. I'm like, oh man, you have a lot of confidence. And he's like, yeah, well, I've been driving a cab up here for 25 years. Turns out the reason he knew absolutely everyone, that's his town. It's where he grew up. It's where he still lives. He knows everyone in town. As we were driving down the street, he'd roll down his window and yell at people, and it was actually quite delightful. And I guess at this point, we're just at a wait and see moment. How am I gonna feel in the morning? If I feel great, I'm gonna call that cabbie and we're gonna skip that hill because Lord knows I'm not doing that again if I don't have to. If I don't feel fine, I guess we'll just wait and see what happens. Maybe I'll spend another day in Ourense. I'm hoping not, because now we're getting down to a point where it's going to be a little trickier timing-wise, but take it as it comes. Lordy, this is a long update. There's probably even more I could tell you about my wacky ass day. I almost did my video in the towel, because that's how little confidence I had that these clothes were going to be done. So today was mostly injury, clothes, hungry, trying to take it all in stride. I'll let you guys know tomorrow what happens next, and as always, thanks for tuning in. Catch you on the next one for Chaos Travails. Bye.